All right, Shalom. This is the brother Nahalia from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rokakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasher Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. This is Ephesians chapter 4. And I will start at 5. I'll start at 4. There is one body and one spirit, even as you are called in one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one power and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Hamashiach. All right, and I want to go into a lesson on the purpose of the ministry. All right, the purpose of the ministry is to edify the body of Hamashiach. All right, and the body of Hamashiach is also referred to as the tabernacle of David, and most notably the elect. And it is designed to edify. All right, now I want to jump down really quick. Verse 8 reads, "Wherefore he saith, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts unto men." All right, so Hamashiach, when he sat at the right hand of the Father, this Holy Spirit descended, all right, upon the remnant, the elect, as in the days of old, even in these last days. All right, as the scriptures say, as a matter of fact, it says John chapter 6 and verse 44. "No man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day." All right, so through the Spirit, the ministry has been set up to educate. All right, and when you go into the etymology of educate, let's get it. All right, bear with me. I want to grab it. All right. So I'm going to grab the definition of educate. Because again, the ministry was designed to edify and educate the elect. Not the entire nation of Israel, but the elect in particular. All right, because they have the gift of faith. All right, that gift of faith is not given to any man, but particular men and women, all right, that were predestined to have faith on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai in these last days. The ministry was designed to educate, which means to bring forth or draw out, and to edify, which means to build up. All right. Now let's get it for edification's sake. I don't want to just say it, but I want to back it up with the script, with the definitions. All right. So it says educate, educatin. It says bring up children, to train, from Latin educatus, past participle of educare, bring up, near, educate. Source also of Italian educare, Spanish educar, French eduquer, which is a frequentative of or otherwise related to educere. Bring out, lead forth. From ex out, ducere, to lead. From pi root duke, to lead. Meaning provide schooling is first attested. All right. And it says related to educated. All right. Now, let's go to this one. It says, according to Century Dictionary, educere of a child is usually with reference to bodily nurture or support, while educare refers more frequently to the mind. And there is no authority for the common statement that the primary sense of education is to draw out or unfold the powers of the mind. So one recurring theme in this definition is to draw out. All right, to draw out. Now I want to grab this. This is 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 1. The second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance. All right. Through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, the ministry was designed to edify or build up the faith of the elect. All right. And we always use this analogy. Faith is similar to a muscle, is likened unto a muscle. It must be built up. Hence the word edify. When you listen or when you read the epistles of Paul, he frequently used the word edify, edification. This word has a particular relationship to what this ministry is about. It's ultimately about building up the faith. All right. And the reason I wanted to go into this lesson through the Spirit is because we're about to go from faith to faith, meaning the ministry or the famine of the word is going to begin, which is going to be the ministry diminishing. All right. Because the faith of the elect has been built up to its purpose. That's what this whole grace period was designed to do, to educate and to edify the elect, to build up the faith of the elect. It wasn't meant for us to go out and look smart. It wasn't meant for us to go out here and gather unto ourselves vainglory. It was meant to build up both the laborer and the ones who have received the word. All right. The appointed shepherds, pastors, and the flock to be edified one another. What is that edification for? The edifying of our faith. All right. Now, I want to go into Ephesians again. All right. So Ephesians 4, we left off at 8. It says, wherefore he saith, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts unto men. So the laborers have particular gifts. All right. Some apostles, some evangelists. All right. Some prophets. For what purpose? To edify, to give vision to the elect, and to edify, to build up their faith. All right. The prophets who are able to break down the prophecies in a way that the flock can understand it based on the faith that they've received in measure from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Now that seed, Lord willing, has been set on good ground, and the edification is to nurture that seed so that it grows into a vessel that is strongly rooted in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. This was never meant to look intelligent or to put on a sport of vainglory. This was never meant for that. That's why beginning with our elders and apostles, there are no debates. If someone comes to the highways and hedges and wants to have a discourse, that happens. But as far as debates, the apostles, beginning with our apostles, they refrained from debates because this was never about vainglory or looking intelligent in front of a crowd. It was always about building up the faith of the elect. And that's why the Spirit of the Lord has this message look the way it looks. All right. From the presentation of it to the appearance of it. Because those who receive this message already have that faith built within them. All right. Now, continuing, I want to jump down to the point. I want to grab verse 11. And it reads, and he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and teachers for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Hamashiach. All right, now let's get this word edify. All right, so I'm going to go to Ephesians 4 and 12, and we're going to get the Greek word for edify. All right. Now, this is the word for edify.
Strong's G 3619, oikadame, oikadame.
All right. An outline of biblical usage says the act of building up, metaphorically, edifying, edification, the act of one who promotes another's growth in, it says, Christian wisdom, piety, happiness, holiness. A building, i.e., the thing built, edifies. All right. Because again, we are lively stones, as the scriptures say. All right. But this Ministry was designed to edify, to build up, all right? To build up the faith of the elect, all right? And to educate them on the things that we've lost through the course of time because a falling away has happened. So those two things are the most important parts of the ministry. All right. And that's why through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, we're getting to a point where a famine of the word is going to begin. And that can only mean one thing, that the elect's faith, the elect have been sealed and their faith has been built up to a point to withstand what we're about to witness through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right. This was never about Alexander's 4 generals. It was never about the details of the edification of the education that we've received. It was always about building up the faith. And sometimes for certain spirits, it was needful to bring out archaeology, history. All right. The Lord put particular spirits on the earth, particular Edomite spirits, to go and spend their entire life digging up history of our heritage, of our scriptures, of things that have happened in the past. For what purpose? To educate or edify the elect, to confirm the faith that was already in them. And for some brothers that may have been necessary, for other brothers that may not have been necessary. But again, it's all about perfecting the saints, because we've all been given different measures of faith. And all of these things were designed for one goal, and that is to edify or build up the faith of the elect. The faith that has been given is a gift. But just like anything, you may have a talent, all right? But just having a talent alone does not equal success. That talent has to be built up. It has to be perfected. This is what the ministry was designed for. That's why Paul exhorted to not go into strifes, vainglories, contentions, all right? Because all those things don't breed edification. It doesn't build up the faith of the elect. If anything, it ensnares the ones who are of weaker faith. And the reason I want to go into this through the spirit is because the end goal, all right, from the beginning was for the Lord to have us have trust and faith in him throughout all adversity. That's why the scriptures say this. And then I'll go back into this word edification. Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 1. Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it. For unto us was the gospel preached, as well as unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. And this is very important. All right, there's no need for a debate if you are dealing with people who have no faith. Because the word preached won't profit them. Because again, this was never about being smart or looking smart. This was always about building up the faith of the elect, gathering the elect through the Spirit of the Lord. Every man who's been given a gift was given a gift for this purpose, to build up the elect's faith and trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right, the Lord ultimately gives the increase, but those different gifts from those different men help to educate, which means to draw out, and edify, which means to build up. And we're coming into a time, and we've been talking about this through the Spirit, particularly us in Orlando, the last few weeks on the highways, that we're going to come into a time of the famine of the word. And the reason that it's important to be conscious of this is because the luxury we have of this much access to this truth is not always going to be here. All right, we're going to go through a time of the famine of the word. And when you're left to your own thoughts, if your faith has not been built up, if this grace period has not been used wisely by you to build up your faith, then in these last days, it's going to be a very difficult time. Because that's what the ministry was always designed to do, to build up the faith of the elect. All right. The prophets give you the vision, the plan, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, the things that will befall us in the end days. And for those who have faith mixed with it, they're going to do what is required of them through the Spirit. All right. Which means they're going to have faith, and they're going to show their faith through their works. All right. For some, that is the labor. That is the gift that the Lord has given into you, sharing it with the flock and feeding the flock meat that is convenient for them in these times. For those who believe, who may not have the portion of a laborer, the sacrifice that you've done through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai to get closer to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that is your works shown, that is your faith shown through your works. And the whole purpose of the ministry was designed to build that up, that key ingredient. That's why Hebrews, the 4th chapter, is so important, because, again, it says the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. And for that same purpose, they fell in the wilderness, because they failed to trust the Lord and his plan and his agenda. That is the purpose of this ministry through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, and you have some Israelite camps that have lost sight of this end goal. As watchmen, we are to watch and to bring out these current events through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, to make the flock aware of what's happening and where we are in the span of prophecy time. But as shepherds under the apostles, we're also set up to exhort and to give a good report to the flock to build up their faith. Whereas you have camps that have specialized in debates and looking intelligent and doing things for vainglory, strife for vainglory's sake. And the ministry was never designed to do that. Now, again, in the time of Acts, these things happened, but it was always for the purpose of edification. Now, let me go to this as well. This is Romans 15:1. And it reads, "We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak, and not to please ourselves." All right. And vainglory is a pleasing of yourself. All right. But your gift is supposed to be used to exhort and educate and edify the flock and the fellow shepherds. All right. That's why through the Spirit, if you have 3 views or 20 views or 300, it was needful for someone to see that through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right. That's why the Lord placed the Spirit on you to do particular lessons. All right. Because it's designed. The ministry has always been designed to edify and educate the elect, not everybody. That's why through the Spirit, when the apostle Tahar said, if a nigga don't get it, we moving on. All right. Excuse my French. What does that mean? That means if you perceive someone to not have faith, then the word preached won't profit them. This is why Hamashiach said not to give your... Let's get that. This is Matthew 7:6. And it reads, "Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you." Why? Because faith is not mixed with them that heard it. So it's never going to profit them. They're always going to have another question that leads to another question that ultimately just displays that they don't have faith. Once you perceive that, the ministry does not benefit that individual, and it's a waste of your time that could be spent on an individual who does have faith. Now, there are times where we bring things out for edification's sake, and that's when you hear brothers say for edification's sake, meaning to build up the faith of someone who may be listening, who may have a question that is the same as a scoffer who doesn't have faith. To edify that individual, will bring out some education or edification on it. But the point being is that the ministry has always been designed to build up the faith and the understanding of the elect. That is what this was always designed for. And through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, we're coming into a time where the ministry is going to be no more. And what do I mean by that? The famine of the word is going to set on. You won't have access to this truth on the YouTube and different platforms. Scriptures talk about the Lord making the prophets' tongue to cleave to the roof of their mouth. Why is that? Because through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, we're coming into a time where the Lord is about to begin to perform the things that we speak on. Everything that we talk about concerning prophecy, the Lord is going to perform this. And at that point, the faith of the elect who have received that mark of exemption will be covered. All right. Now, let's go back to Romans 15. And then I'll end it with the rest of the definition of edification. All right. So Romans 15:1 again reads, "We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak and not to please ourselves. Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good to edification. For even Hamashiach pleased not himself, but as it is written, the reproaches of them that reproached thee fell on me. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope." Now this is important because what Paul is saying is that everything that was left for us as a record was to comfort us, give us patience, and most importantly, hope, which goes back into faith. The most important part of our equation through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai is the building up of our faith. All right. And Lord willing, this was edifying. But the Spirit was on me to bring this out because, again, we're coming into a time where the ministry is going to be taken away from us through the famine of the word, because there will be no need for the edification of the elect because they have been built up enough to withstand this great day. That's always been the purpose of the ministry. That's the purpose of this grace period. To do what? To rehearse the righteous acts. Part of rehearsing the righteous acts is having faith. It's one of the most important parts of rehearsing the righteous acts. That's what the Lord is pleased with, the faith and the patience of the saints. All right, now continuing with the definition of edification or edifying. Strong's definition says, feminine abstract of a compound of G3624 and the base of G1430. Architecture, an example concretely a structure. Figuratively, confirmation, building, edifying, edify, edification, edifying. That's beautiful. Confirmation. So the ministry just confirms the faith that is already in you. It just confirms it. And for some brothers, they need the architecture. They need the different books, the different points in history. And the Lord has raised up men in this ministry to bring forth that edification, to build up and confirm the faith that is within brothers and the sisters that do listen and the believers. But all of these things, the gifts, the men, the apostles, the whole thing was all for the edification of the building up and the education of the elect. To build up. And through the Spirit, as we get closer to the end, you're going to notice that the famine of the word is going to happen simultaneously with prophecy beginning to ramp up. And that's a sign that the Lord has used this as a tool to build up the faith of the elect, and that mission has been accomplished. I'm not saying it has been already, but when you recognize the famine of the word, that is going to be in the Spirit a confirmation, if you will, that the elect have been sealed. Because you're going to have people who wake up in the 11th hour. They're not going to know the 4 generals of Alexander. Neither is it going to be important to them. They're going to wake up through faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, which was always the purpose of our mission through the Spirit of the Lord, beginning with the apostles, to edify, to build up our faith, all right, and to build up the faith of the flock and the fellow laborers. All right. As a matter of fact, this reminds me of Malachi. All right, let's go to Malachi, the 3rd chapter. One of my favorite verses is here. This is Malachi 3, and I'm going to jump down to 16. And it reads, "Then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another," i.e. the ministry, all right, the video epistles. All right, back then during the time of Acts, it was literal letters or epistles. Paul was doing what? Rebuking, edifying, correcting, all right, To do what? To nurture the believers, the ones who believe, to build them up, to bear the infirmities of the weak until they were strong. Continuing, it says, and the Lord hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord, and that thought upon his name. And they shall be mine, saith the Lord of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. Then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth Yahweh Shai and him that serveth him not. And we're in a time, all right, where those that fear the Lord speak often one to another. To do what? To edify each other, to exhort each other, to inspire and motivate each other, to continue in the faith, to exhort to have more faith. Because when you think about it from a big picture perspective, this was all about the building up of the faith of the elect, educating the elect. You've had Edomites or men of other nations who spent their entire life digging up history that now belongs in a page in a book that was ultimately to edify the elect, if you can receive it. But even that information is not as important as the faith of the elect. And that's what all of this was designed for. But we are coming into a time where there's going to be no need for the ministry. All right, because there will be a famine of the word, because that is, again, the sign that the elect have been sealed. But through the Spirit, I want to bring this out because this is the most important part of our journey. Both the laborers and the flock who believe sincerely. The most important quality and trait that you must have through the Spirit is faith. That is the understanding and faith, all right? And that's why the scriptures say this. This is Isaiah 33:6. And it reads, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. All right. And this edification was all for the purpose of building that up in the believers, so that this time, all right, those believers, those laborers will be stable with peace of mind through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, with faith that the Lord can deliver them, no matter what the situation is. And ultimately, faith is the trust in Yahweh Shai without knowing the hows. If you knew the hows, that would be hope that is seen. But ultimately, this entire ministry through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, and the apostles say this all the time, to wake up the elect. Once they've waken up, educate, build them up. Lord willing, they can get strong enough to build up the next brother or sister. Because we're coming into some trying times, but through the Spirit, for those who sincerely seek the Lord, our redemption is nigh. This is a time of rejoicing through the Spirit. All right, so Lord willing, this is edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.